What a game. Sometimes you lose and you're pissed. Sometimes you win and you're fired up. Sometimes you come up a play short and you're kind of like, I'm not that mad. And that's kind of how I feel after the Bears' 42-38 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. What a game. I mean, if you didn't have a dog in the fight and you're just sitting on your couch, New Year's is a couple days away, maybe a couple of cocktails, maybe you're off tomorrow, what a treat. The defense obviously wasn't great for either team, but, that was fantastic theater. Really, really good stuff. Both quarterbacks were awesome. Both play callers were in their bags. The defense has struggled. We'll talk about that. And the Bears came up a play short. They drove down. They get to the 2-yard line after the hook and ladder. The Niners did a good job of keeping Swift in bounds. One play, free rusher comes through. You break that sack, and Caleb doesn't really have a great opportunity, and you come out one play short. I'm finding it hard to be that mad tonight. Let me know, what's your one-word reaction to this loss? I'm just kind of like, shrug. Bummer, but I'm not devastated. I said it during our live stream earlier. What am I supposed to do after that game? Do you want me to crash out on the defense? Yeah, it sucks. The defense isn't great, but your quarterback was fucking awesome. Caleb Williams was fantastic tonight. He gave you a chance to win. He went blow for blow, toe to toe. Battled all night, play after play after play, 330 passing, couple touchdowns. He was great, man. And on the last drive, one play short. Niners did a good job. They flushed him. They got pressure, and he couldn't get enough on it to find Jahdae Walker. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap. But Caleb Williams just caught a heater in this game. He was 14 of 17 at one point in the second half. In the first half, he had 2 of his better touchdowns of his career. He hit Luther Burden on a beautiful lofted deep ball, about a 35-yard touchdown pass. We'll get to Burden in a minute. And then Aaron Rodgers style, he hard counts, gets the defense to jump, kind of just drifts to his right, and throws a frozen rope about 48 yards on a line to Colston Loveland for his touchdown. I was like, I know I hate the guy, and we hate the guy, but was that Aaron Rodgers? I've watched him do that about 50 times in his career. He was terrific. And then in the second half, he's making play after play after play after play, driving you down, and you come up 2 yards short. I'm just not going to I'm not going to freak out about this loss. That was a playoff game. Both teams have issues defensively. Both offenses are fantastic. Play callers are awesome. And it came down to a couple plays, and the Niners kept the Bears out of the end zone on the last play of the game. If there was 12 seconds left instead of 4, I'm pretty sure the Bears win. But there was 4 seconds left. And, if you want to get nitpicky, the Bears used their second timeout before a 4th and 5 that they did convert, but then when they converted, they had to use their last one. So then when Ben Johnson goes to the hook and ladder, Swift has a split-second decision. Do I try to bounce it to the sideline, get out of bounds at about the 7 or 8, or do I cut it up and try to score? He cut it up, tried to score, got tackled at the 2, and they spiked it with 4 seconds left. I thought the Niners did a good job. Lenore did not crash on the slant before the lateral. Typically in that situation, I actually really like the play call because final seconds of the game, you got to keep them out of the end zone. You see they throw. The natural instinct is see ball, get ball. We can't let them score. And Lenore, while he took one step inside initially, he kept outside contain enough that even if Swift bounced it, he wasn't going to score. That's a good play call by Ben because he's thinking, they're going to crash and we're going to lateral and Swift is going to turn the corner and score. He didn't have the angle. And so Swift cut it up, got tackled, they spiked it, and the Niners made the final play. Sometimes you just face a team and they make a play, right? It felt like if they played for 10 hours, it was going to come down to the last possession because the offenses were humming for both teams. I just really enjoyed the game. It sucks they lost. The 1 seed's over with. You can't get it now. We'll talk about the playoff aspect of it in a second, but your quarterback was fantastic. Ben was awesome with the play sequencing. You battled. You had guys playing through the flu. DJ Moore gave it a go. He didn't have much tonight. He was playing with the flu. Darnell Wright gets on a freaking flight this morning. He plays the entire game at right tackle. This team's got a bunch of gamers, man. Like, I'm just not that – I'm not losing my head after this game. Yeah, if the defense plays like that, are you going to win a Super Bowl? Probably not. They can't get off the field on third down. I think that's something, if they don't get that fixed, because for the first 12 weeks or so, it wasn't just the takeaways on defense. It was the third down defense. They were like top 5 in the league, but it's been trending south for weeks now. The defense cannot get off the field on third down. It's a problem. We know they don't have a pass rush. That's been a thing all year. But I didn't think the linebacker play was that good tonight. Nashawn Wright probably had his worst game of the year. I thought Kyle Shanahan did a smart thing, and he tried him to play like where he had to flip his hips a lot. And what I mean by that is, digs over the middle, right? When Nashawn Wright can just play boundary outside corner, he's pretty good because he's long, he's athletic, he can get hands on footballs, he doesn't have to change direction a lot. But Shanahan was having him change direction, and that's not a strength of his. Like, they picked on him a lot and forced him to flip his hips a bunch, and it did not go well. And he had a little hamstring issue coming in, so you wonder if that played a role as well. I thought that was a smart approach by Shanahan. They attacked Jalen Johnson once that I can remember tonight, and it was the first play of the game, and he jumped a slant, and it was picked off for a pick six for TJ Edwards. And they were like, we're not throwing at him anymore. He was awesome. Austin Booker was good. Otherwise, the defense was terrible. And look, I could freak out about the defense, but we know they don't have a pass rush. We know that. I'll call out Montez Sweat a little. I need him to make some plays in a game like this. But we're not going to wake up tomorrow and they're going to have an awesome defensive line. It's something they're going to have to try to address in the offseason. They just don't have an elite group there. What they need is to be better situationally. You got to get off the field on third down, and they're going to have to continue to be opportunistic with the takeaways, and they need the back seven to play better. The linebackers and that second corner spot. I think Jalen's come along. He's in a pretty good spot. Do you give Tyreek Stevenson more opportunities? Because Nashawn Wright tonight, you wonder if there's a blueprint for teams to attack him now, because he did not play good at all. So that is something to keep an eye on heading into the Detroit game where, we'll see if they play guys or not, but you kind of have a game here to kind of mess with some stuff, try some different things. So we'll see if they do some of that in Week 18. Sub for Bears Dubs. Didn't quite get over the hump tonight, but hell of a game. Still have 11 wins this year. I'm still fired up about where this team is. They're still division champs. It's just now, are they going to be the 2 or the 3 seed? We'll find out, but hit that subscribe button. We will have you guys covered. We'll continue to talk about this game and then kind of catch you guys up on the playoff picture on the other side of the break. But got to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor. That is PrizePicks. It is the holiday season, the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be, right? That is PrizePicks. New feature alert. PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. They were offering me payouts. They were saying, Harrison, please take the payout. And I said, nope, I want the full shebang. I hit a 3-player lineup tonight, $20 to win $85. Caleb Williams, more on his passing yards. I took more on Christian McCaffrey's half a touchdown, rushing and receiving. He ran one in. Then Colston Loveland on that free play was able to score as well. So good night for me on that front. Check out PrizePicks today. Pick more, pick less. Download the app. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It is good to be right. All right. We got to give a couple game balls out, even in a loss. The 2 rookies. I mean, Luther Burden, who didn't play last week with an ankle injury. And by the way, end of the game was slow getting up. He had to hop on a cart. Seems like he's fine. He talked to the media. We'll know more later. I think he's okay. Rest him Week 18 if there's any concern. This guy is just an unreal player. I mean, I still, unless he murdered someone, I don't know how he fell to the second round. He is so dynamic. I mean, he'll just run basic out routes, and the DB's got no chance to tackle him in space. They ran a 6-yard out to him at one point on a key 3rd and 10, I think on that drive to try and win it late, and he just puts his foot in the ground, cuts inside, gets like 15. It's like, I mean, if I'm an Irish fan, am I upset at the DB? He's got no shot to make that play. 8 for 138 and a touchdown on 9 targets, and the only one that wasn't complete, he dropped on that final drive, which led to the 4th and 5 when Ben Johnson took the timeout. So, does that change things? Who knows? But they converted. They still had a chance. But he was awesome. This guy, he could help you this year. I mean, he could be a reason you win a playoff game. So, kudos to him. Hopefully he's fine. If there's any concerns, sit him week 18 and get him ready for the playoffs. Colston Loveland, big game for him as well. 6 for 94 and a touchdown. I mean, these two guys, those two in Rome long-term, that's the trio. And we've said it all year. And look, DJ's got a role in this team. We understand that. But Colston Loveland and Luther Burden tonight, when guys are sick, Rome is out, DJ's playing through the flu, but clearly he's not going to have a major role. These two guys just stepped up to the plate. Caleb Williams, Luther Burden, and Colston Loveland played their asses off. They gave you a chance to win, and you fell a play short. I'm just not going to lose my mind over that. Like, it was a fun game to watch, and it's a bummer you didn't get it done at the end, but you were very, very close. And yeah, you had the rest advantage, but to me, when double-digit guys at some point this week were dealing with the flu and some guys played through it, it's kind of an equalizer, in my opinion. Coin flip type of game, and boy, was it. It came down to literally 2 yards. So shout out to Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. Also shout out Darnell Wright for hopping on a plane this morning and playing right tackle. That's pretty gritty stuff. And this team's pretty gritty. They fight till the end, and they did that again tonight. All right, playoff picture. So the 1 seed's dead. Now it's Seahawks, Niners, winner take all. Unless they tie, then Seattle gets it. But the Bears can still play one of 4 teams because they can get the 2 or the 3 seed. They can play the Packers if they get the 2 seed. That's locked in because the Packers are locked in as the 7 seed. If they get the 3 seed, which if they lose to Detroit and Philadelphia wins over Washington, they'd fall to the 3 seed. Philly would be the 2. They could play one of Seattle, San Francisco, or the Rams. We'll dive into those scenarios as we go, but throughout the week. But Packers, Niners, Rams, Seahawks, all still in play for round 1. Not easy, right? Like those are all tough teams. And my gut feeling, sitting here right now, and I'll think it over throughout the week, I think out of those 4 teams, I'd most want to play the Packers. They're beat up. They've lost 3 in a row. You've played them twice recently. You know what they're about. You get them at home. I think that's who I would want to play. If it's snowing, how effective would a Brock Purdy be? Smaller hands, smaller quarterback? I don't know. He's pretty dialed in right now, though. Christian McCaffrey looks awesome. I would just give him 40 carries in that scenario. I don't want to play the Rams and Stafford and those 2 running backs and McVay and that crew. Maybe Seattle and Darnold if Darnold turns into pumpkin mode, but he seems to be getting over the hump this year, and that defense is probably the best of that group. So I think the Packers, that's the team I'd want to play. So if that's the case, and if the Bears feel the same way, then you need to play to win, right? We'll see. I'll be curious to see if they play their starters or not. Obviously, if guys are banged up, you would rest those guys, but I still think the 2 seed's probably the best scenario. And by the way, if you beat the Packers, then you're guaranteed a home playoff game in the divisional round too. If you're the 3 seed, you are not guaranteed that. If the 2 seed wins, you would be on the road in the second round. So I still think your best option is winning or getting a loss from the Eagles, getting the 2 seed, and playing Green Bay at home. I know everybody's scared of the history of the rivalry and all that, but the other options don't seem that much better. And a couple of them flat out just aren't. So I think my gut feeling is saying you play to win still. I'm going to sleep it off and think about it for a day or 2, but I think I would play the guys, at least the guys who are fully healthy. Again, if guys are questionable, whatever, rest them. If DJ Moore needs a week off, Joe Thuney, Byard, these vets, I understand that. But in general, I'd probably play to win. That's probably how I would approach it here. Should the Bears rest their starters next week? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I could see select guys. Maybe I'll change my mind when I wake up tomorrow and say, I just treat it as a bye week, preseason game. I might. I definitely not closing that door. But my gut initially is to play their starters. So I would type my in for no. All right, that's going to do it for our Bears Now post-game show. What a game. Sucks they couldn't win, but they were right there. Caleb gave you a chance. When have we been able to say that about a quarterback in Chicago? You have a quarterback that gives you a chance when the defense isn't playing well. That's pretty awesome. Hit that subscribe button and bear down.